What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Kara Corey here, and today I've got a great little sweet treat for you. This is gonna be a no-bake pumpkin chocolate chip ball. So this is going to be super easy. Throw it all in a bowl. We're gonna chill it for a little bit and then form it into balls. They're great to have on the go. You can pop them in the freezer, eat them throughout the week. Very great to have on hand. I also am introducing pumpkin already. It is mid-August. It's time to bring pumpkin back into our staples for cooking. It's so great in terms of nutrition, and it's actually a great substitute in a lot of recipes for fat. So make sure you have that on hand, although this is gonna be a higher fat recipe, so don't worry about fat right now. For today's recipe, there's gonna be protein in it, of course. We're going to use the vegan Per Vitam Protein, and this whole recipe is actually gonna be vegan, but it's up to you if you want it to be vegan or not, but this is gonna add to it that extra chocolatey goodness to it. So to get started, all we need to do is grab our bowl. We're gonna first start with wet ingredients. For pumpkin, I buy the canned organic pumpkin. Do what you want. We're gonna start with a half a cup of pure pumpkin for this recipe. That's gonna give us a nice amount of vitamin A. It's gonna give us some fiber. It's gonna fill us up a little bit more than your average treat, which is what's nice about it. Now, I mentioned using some fat. I am gonna use some coconut oil in this recipe. So I've already melted down 1/4 cup of coconut oil that I'm gonna go ahead and add in there. I like using coconut oil as a fat source. It is a medium chain triglyceride, but it also adds that like coconutty taste versus just using like a butter or something else. So that's why I do like using coconut oil when it comes to like sweet baked goods. We are going to add just a little pinch of baking vanilla. Again, I add this to a lot of recipes. If you guys have watched me before, you know I do, just because it adds that nice flavor. And for sweetness today, for something different, I'm going to use some coconut sugar, which you can pretty much find at any grocery store. If you don't have coconut sugar on hand, you could use a maple brown sugar. Maple brown sugar? I think it's just brown sugar, right? I don't know. Sounded better. But we're gonna add 1/4 cup of the coconut sugar in there. And then to make it a little bit sweeter, I gave you a couple options here. You could do honey, you could do agave, or you could do some maple syrup. I have here some sugar-free maple syrup, and I'm gonna add in there 1/4 cup of that. This is just making it extra sweet. I'm gonna go ahead and stir up what we have here to kind of make like, almost like a caramel type mixture. In case you're wondering if I seem like I'm standing a little bit odd, or that would be because my 140-pound Cane Corso is laying against my legs right now, so I will not be going anywhere. So once you've got that all mixed up, you can smell it. It's got this very strong like caramel type flavor. Smells delicious. So next we're gonna add in our dry ingredients, which is going to be our vegan protein. If you guys don't have this on hand, we're gonna leave the link for you below to get yourself some Per Vitam. I swear by the Per Vitam brownie bowl. Buy it just for the brownie bowl. It's that freaking good. 1.5 scoops, excuse me, 1.5 scoops. Again, if you're not using this and you're using something different, the consistency, the taste, the texture, all that kind of stuff is impacted depending on what type of protein you use. So just remember that. Next, I'm gonna add in some coconut flour. Again, this is gonna add to the flavor. I also like the texture of coconut flour when it comes to these types of no-bake recipes. They just kind of add a nice texture to it. So I've got in here 3/4 cup of coconut flour. We're gonna dump that in there. And for a little bit of spice, we're just gonna add a couple dashes of salt. And then I'm also going to add in some pumpkin pie spice. Again, just a couple dashes of that to bring out the pumpkin-y flavor. And we're gonna go ahead and mix that up. Before I go ahead and finish mixing this, I'm gonna add in any kind of toppings or mix-ins that you want to this recipe. So since it's gonna be chocolatey, we're gonna add 1/4 cup of mini chocolate chips. And then I also just really love coconut. So I've got here some coconut flakes, again, 1/4 cup. We're gonna dump in there and then finish mixing this around. Once you've got your dough all mixed up, ideally it works best if you chill it for like 10 to 15 minutes just so it hardens up a bit more. It'll make it easier for you to go ahead and scoop your balls. Once your dough is chilled, I like to use a tablespoon to measure them out. That way they are a consistent size. So we're just gonna go ahead, scoop it in. If you want to just use your hands, you can, but I find using a tablespoon makes it a ton easier. So let's just go ahead and scoop these all out. All right, guys, with that batter, using a tablespoon, that made for me 12 of our pumpkin chocolatey chip balls. These are best stored in the fridge or in the freezer. I wouldn't leave them out, although they are ready to eat. You guys don't have to bake these. They're ready to go. They're a great source of nutrition. They're gonna help you curb that sweet tooth, and it's also going to help satisfy you longer because you've got the nutrition in there, the protein from the vegan protein, you've got the nutrition from the pumpkin, the coconut oil, so those fats are gonna help fill you up a lot longer than your average sweet. So I hope you guys give this recipe a try. If you do, don't forget to tag me in your photos on Instagram if you make it and post it. I always like seeing how you guys recreate these recipes. We'll see you in the next video.